Oh man, I've been putting in the hours here this past week. I had a nice Christmas though. I was able to spend it home, but New Year's Day I sure was busy. Looking for a house here. Man, it just seems like nobody puts their house number anymore, or at least in a conspicuous space. They don't always have their porch light on. The GPS sometimes is a godsend. Sometimes that's how I can find where I'm supposed to be going. Yeah, I think this looks like this is it right here. You know, sometimes death can be welcomed. It may come after years of pain and suffering, but there's lots of times it's a surprise. It's unwelcome, and there's many times where it's just totally unnecessary, especially in this case here, an overdose death. Sometimes a man is his own worst enemy, and this right here was totally unnecessary, what I'm doing tonight.
Hey Vince, I gotta tell you, thanks for letting me shadow you tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, it was a weird experience, but I gotta tell you, that guy that we just picked up, that could have been me.
Really? Why'd you say that?
The guy in the passenger seat of that van is Michael Savage. I know his story, and by the end of tonight, you will too. Welcome to Lifeline-Connect's Funding the Dream event. We hope that shortly after this is over, you'll go to lifeline-connect.org. You can donate there, and you can participate in a silent auction, which will run for a bit after the presentation as well. Again, that's lifeline-connect.org. I think the real question is, how do you get from potentially being on the stretcher in the back of that van to sitting in the passenger seat instead, like Michael was? Well, we're about to tell you more about how Lifeline Connect is making that a possibility.
You may be asking, what is Lifeline-Connect? Lifeline is a men's faith-based residential recovery center located in Urbana, Illinois, and we help men overcome life-controlling addictions from drugs and alcohol. We've been in operation for over 14 years, and 2 years ago we witnessed our community come together to help us build this beautiful 24-man facility. Lifeline-connect provides a whole life treatment program that helps men rebuild their lives spiritually, physically, emotionally, and financially by providing a healthy and stable environment where men are able to focus on their recovery and receive the community support they need. Our comprehensive curriculum addresses core areas of life through the Word of God, relapse prevention tools, life management skills, accountability plans, and personal financial responsibility education. Research has shown that 30-day through 90-day programs are not as effective for long-term recovery. That's why Lifeline-connect is a one-year program giving our residents ample time to recover, discover purpose, and to be equipped to live a lifetime of recovery.
Hello everyone, I'm James Brown, host of the NFL Today and Inside the NFL on Showtime, and it is indeed a pleasure to be able to share with you because I love a redemption story, and Lifeline Connect is certainly full of them. In fact, the theme of the Bible is redemption. As a matter of fact, God came to pay a price that we owed because we owed a price that we couldn't pay. And I love that our God is a God of second chances. And now I understand that Lifeline Connect and their partners are carrying out the Lord's will for men who desire to overcome addiction and live a life of abundance that He has in store for every one of us. Congratulations on your new facility that can serve even more of God's children. And may the Lord bless and keep you all as you push forward in accomplishing the purpose for which God has called you to His glory.
I met Joe and I was already in obvious addiction and I tried to hide it from him, and at this point I was on methadone.
Her mom was on it, her dad was on it, her aunt was on it, all her family in this town that she grew up in, which was, I mean, right next to the town I grew up in, and she was on it too, but I would see all these bottles laying all over, which that she would get from the methadone clinic.
It was trying to almost have a double life, like trying to be this person I wasn't, and I wasn't comfortable with being sober, and all I thought about was getting high. And then eventually Joey started using.
I felt sick because I didn't have any Vicodin or Norco, and Autumn's stepdad Ramon said, "Hey, come here real quick." And we went in the bathroom and he got his methadone out and put it on a little teaspoon and he let me have some. When it started to kick in, it numbed me, it gave me a great amount of energy, and I literally fell in love with it.
And then it was over. We were both in a methadone addiction. Our marriage the first time was 100% different than it is now. He was more of the type that wanted to go out to the bars and socialize and just be out there. And I was at home. We did have 3 kids. There was many, many nights that he would leave and I knew he wasn't coming home.
I couldn't handle Gabe as a baby crying. I couldn't handle her parents. She was pregnant. It was just too much for me, and I just ran from the situation.
What ended up happening is my mom ended up overdosing at our house and dying. And that was a time of, then it just got worse. Then we started smoking crack. And we moved a crack dealer into our house with our kids. Noah was 2.5 months old. And he was born premature. And he was supposed to wear an apnea monitor. I put him to sleep with me, Joey.
I remember waking up, I want to say maybe it was about 2:30 in the morning, and when I woke up, I remember looking up and Autumn was feeding Noah, sitting there watching TV, you know, and it looked like It looked like she was, you know, she was tired herself, and she looked like she was falling asleep a little bit. And I remember just laying my head back down.
And I woke up. And I woke up. I knew something, that he wasn't okay.
I remember getting woke up by a loud scream. I mean, a screeching scream on the top of her lungs, and it was Autumn. And she was screaming. She said, "Joey, Noah is not breathing. Noah's not breathing. Noah's not breathing."
I tried to give him CPR when 911 was telling me what to do. I was finally able to call. And they explained to me how to give CPR. So I'm giving my newborn baby CPR, and I think that I'm actually doing something, but I'm not, because I'm pushing out air, I'm blowing in.
And then I remember the EMTs and the firemen, everyone going past me. And I remember walking back, and I tripped over something, and I just fell down, and I just sat there while I'm watching everybody. They're working on Noah, and they're doing all this stuff, and I'm like, "Wake up, this is a dream, wake up, Joey, wake up, this isn't real, wake up." And I just kept telling myself that over and over again.
They came out and they said, "I'm sorry." In my life, right there, that was it.
And I remember my dad coming over, and I started freaking out. Like I started like screaming, freaking out. Matter of fact, I think I got my head, and I was trying to hit my head on the wall, and my dad came up, and he wrapped his arms around me, and he just held me.
That night, nothing else mattered anymore. That was something that I could never, ever forgive myself for. From co-sleeping with my son and being messed up on drugs, my child is no longer here.
And that feeling that I felt when I was holding my child that was already passed away, that feeling of coldness and numbness and holding that is the feeling that haunted me. From that point on until I came to Lifeline-Connect, I made a promise to myself that I was going to do everything in my right mind. I don't care what drug it was. I don't care if it was ecstasy, opiates, alcohol, crack cocaine, whatever it was. I would do everything in my right mind to numb so I could never relive that moment again. You know, and here I am. I think I was 35 years old at the time, broken, no hope, don't know where my wife and kids are. I got on the phone with my brother, and he just said, "Hey, listen," he said, "call this number. It's Lifeline-Connect." And I talked to the director of the program. I just told him, I said, "I'm desperate." I said, "I have nothing. I've hit bottom. I need help." In one of the classes that we take in Lifeline-Connect, I started talking about my son that passed away, and I started talking about the night he passed away, but then it just stopped. I got real emotional, and I just shut down. And I remember they challenged me. They didn't say I had to. They just challenged me to write a letter to Noah, whatever that looked like. And I wrote a letter to him like he was standing right in front of me and like he could understand everything. And in this letter I wrote, I apologized to him that I wasn't able to teach him how to tie his shoes, and I apologized to him that I wouldn't be able to show him how to be a man or be at his first Little League game. I was set free that day. And from that point on, I was able to talk about it like I am right now without shutting down. And that was a big moment for me, because that was, if not the biggest underlying issue of my addiction, was my son's death. The way that Lifeline-Connect took me as a man that was so broken, that had nothing, that came here with no hope, no integrity, no character, not even feeling like a man. They took that person, they took Joey, that person, and they built me up to be a man.
Lifeline fueled my family. getting healthy and back together, and it fueled my husband knowing that he don't have to die. He made the choice to listen to everybody there and their guidance, and he was receptive to what Lifeline-connect offers. And my family being here as a whole, as in one roof, happy and healthy, is 100% Lifeline-connect.
Some of you out there are feeling isolated. Some of you out there are feeling like you're the only ones who are going through this, whether it's a family member dealing with issues of substance abuse, whether it's you yourself, whether it's a friend. The reality is we are not alone. We are not alone in this journey. We are not alone in going through these things. I am enjoying my 4th year of sobriety, and one of the things that has come about when I've shared my experience has been the number of people that have come out to share that they too are on this same journey. I always thought it was just me. I always thought I was the only one going through this, that I was the only one putting my family through some of the issues I was putting them through. But the reality is that so many of us are dealing with issues. We cover it up with smiles, we cover it up with happy posts on social media. But the reality is that we're walking through a world in pain, a fallen world. And yet we can lean on each other for support. Jesus promised that we would have life and life abundant in him. Not always easy, not always great, but an abundant life where we could lean on him and lean on others around us. Remember, you are not alone. There are people in your community, there are people around you who can help you, who can support you. Also, Lifeline-connect can help people in their community and all over the country and outside of the U.S. They have residents from all over. Reach out. There are those out there who can help. Don't feel isolated and alone.
I've had a lot of people ask me, what makes Lifeline so effective? What Lifeline does, it gives people the courage and the tools to go back and confront those unwanted thoughts, feelings, and memories. And then not just cope with them, but to bring them to a place of healing and resolution and freedom. Then they have no reason to run anymore. They have no reason to avoid. And so it's not just teaching them coping tools or coping behaviors, but it's taking away the very root of why they had to start coping to begin with. The impact of this axe when it hits the wood, it just splinters it. It's just like, it's not because this axe is all that sharp, but it's just the impact. When addiction impacts a life or a family or whatever, it just splinters it, it shatters it. But I want to tell you, at Lifeline, with God's help, we see all the pieces like the hard work guys do, and we come alongside them, and God comes alongside them, and they go get this piece, and they work with it, and they get healing, and then the Lord puts it back together better than new. And then all of a sudden you just look back in a couple years and there's this new tree that's growing where there just used to be a stump of life left. And whole families have been affected. And whole families have been put back together. And when there was going to be a future of addiction that's perpetuated to kids and grandkids and on and on and on, God just puts a stop to it by putting one life back together. That's what we see happening at Lifeline. That's what we need help with.
I promised you a bit earlier we were going to hear the rest of Michael's story, and as you're about to see, it's a story worth waiting for.
I've never told you about this about myself, but I was a heroin addict. I've died of multiple heroin overdoses. I've been in the ICU on a ventilator for a week. I overdosed 4 times within the same week of heroin. But they were able to save my life. That should have been me. before coming to Lifeline, I was homeless. I was on the streets. I was the guy that was begging people for money, dead of multiple heroin overdoses. But as you've seen tonight, God has completely blessed my life. I'm a homeowner. I got a beautiful wife. I got a beautiful family, 2 little girls and a little boy. I have a career, and I'm giving back, and I'm making a difference. And now I'm living a life of recovery. And there is no such thing as a lost cause. If I can make it, anybody can make it.
Hi, my name is Megan Savage, and tonight you guys got to hear our story about how God used Lifeline-Connect to put my husband Michael's life back together. I would like to say thank you to anyone who has ever supported Lifeline-Connect over the years, because it's you guys that gave my husband that opportunity to have his life put back together, and so many others as well. And second, I would like to invite you guys to join with us in creating more opportunities for healing in 2021. 1 minute of your time is going to make a huge difference in someone else's life. You can go to lifelineconnect.org and click on that button that says Donate to Funding the Dream, and consider giving $10 a month, $5 a month, or even $25 a month is going to make a huge difference in so many lives, because you're not just affecting the addict, but you're also helping his children get a restored, healthy father back in so many other relationships. And also, I would like to let you guys know that up to $37,000 is being matched by an anonymous donor. So that means your $50 turns into $100, or $1,000 turns into $2,000. So I would like to consider letting you guys think about letting God use you in this moment. And also, don't forget about our silent auction, which is open until 7 p.m. tonight. And bid on those experiences and those other items that you guys are going to enjoy so much. So let's see what God is going to do through you guys and change so many lives. Thank you so much.